So clearly by pure coincidence, last night Dana White hits up old IG Live and completely blue balls and shuts down Francis Ngannou's opportunity to get some media attention. He says, "Fuck you, Ngannou, you ain't having it. Here's the most stacked card we've seen all year, and you'll see it soon. To UFC 291." Now I don't know if they were planning on announcing this card, last night, but I think that when they found out Ngannou was making that announcement, they knew that the media would be picking up on that. So they were like, right, let's get down to business and let's make this announcement quick. So they waited for Ngannou to make that announcement right before the headlines hit. Dana hits up old IG Live, and he gives us this absolute beast of a card. It's the best card we have seen all year, and I know that ain't saying much. We've had some lackluster cards. Don't even get me started about the pain that is coming up. I don't even want to think about that. The next, up until 290, we're just going to have to hold on tight, and it's going to be rough sailing. But without further ado, let me bring to you this card. Walla bang! UFC 291, Poirier versus Dustin Gaethje in Salt Lake City, Utah. As you can see, top to bottom here, this card is absolutely fucking stacked. But you might be asking, well, what's wrong with it? Well, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. There's two things about it that I don't like, and I'll be talking about them at the end of the video. But before then, I'm just going to give you a quick run of the mill of all the fights going on in here and what my predictions are. So, Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. They are fighting for the vacant BMF lightweight title. Okay. I think this is a real tough one to call. I think this might be the toughest one on the card to call. I'm leaning Gaethje, man. I'm leaning Gaethje. I think recency bias might be a thing, but recently Justin Gaethje has looked better. What has Dustin Poirier done recently, other than beat Michael Chandler, which, let's face it, isn't an amazing win. Michael Chandler ain't that great. He's a very low IQ individual. He refuses to let himself win. He had Dustin hurt in one situation, but just decided to spaz out as opposed to going for that finish. Now, that being said, Justin Gaethje, who I really thought was going to be a bit of an underdog in that Fiziev fight, I really thought that Fiziev was going to come out on top there. He took me by surprise. He really did. Justin looks really good in those last two rounds of that fight. I just think recently he just wants it more, and he said that. He said that if you listen to his interviews, Poirier sounds a little bit more set in stone about being, the tough guy at lightweight. Do you get what I'm saying? Justin still has title aspirations, and you can see that in his fights. He's willing to trudge through, and put himself right into the fire yet again, to get a win. And I'm not saying Poirier can't do that. Like I said, this is really close, and I am when I say I'm leaning Justin Gaethje, I am just leaning towards him. I think this is a real close one. I think people are kind of disrespecting Poirier a little bit when they're talking about, Gaethje's going to walk through him. It's not the same Gaethje that Poirier fought. I agree, but Poirier is incredibly good, and it's going to be a stand-up war. And that's something that Poirier is so good at capitalising on when someone's hurt. That's something that I want you to think about. And he will hurt Justin Gaethje at one point. And when a Michael Chandler hurts Gaethje, like Michael Chandler did in the first round of his fight with Gaethje, he wasn't able to capitalise because he's a low IQ peasant, and he's going to lose to McGregor. Poirier, on the other hand, has some of the best finishing potential in the UFC. He's a real, when he gets you wobbled, he's going in for the kill, and he's going in with precision. Every shot that he throws will be calculated to put you away. In addition to that, Poirier is just, when you hit Poirier with that barrage that, Chandler's hit him with, and that people in the past have hit him with, McGregor in that first round of their rematch, Alvarez a few times, and Gaethje in their first fight, Poirier is so good at, I know it sounds a bit weird, survivability, staying alive, just shelling up when Gaethje's going to be throwing wild at him. And It's a real tough one to call, but like I said, recency bias is a thing, but I'm still leaning Gaethje. He looked amazing on the feet against a stand-up legend like Fiziev is. It's like I said, tough one to call. Leaning Gaethje. I just think he might have it. Poirier's getting a little. These guys aren't young. I know this as well, but I think it's a close fight. I'm leaning Gaethje, but regardless, you guarantee the war. Now, moving on to Jan Blachowicz versus Boatan. So here we've clearly got the custody battle for Israel Adesanya. I don't know why you'd want to own that little weirdo, but there's been some disruptions, and we want to find out who the true father of Izzy is. So I'm all for it. These two guys, this fight breaks my heart, to be honest, because these two guys are my favourite fighters on the entire roster. This is such a high T matchup. I cannot explain to you the testosterone you're going to see coming through the screen when the Slavic strawberry blonde Giga Chad and this jungle Brazilian warrior, go at it. And this will be a stand-up war as well. And I'm leaning on, once again, it's a bit close. It's not that close to call, actually. Blachowicz is going to win, and I'll tell you why. PEAHEAD has just came off this massive KO loss to Adesanya. I think the whole thing's just happening a bit too soon. Now, I know what you're saying, but PEAHEAD at 205 isn't going to have the chin issues that he has at 185 because there's going to be no severe dehydration. I get ya, but it's still too soon of a turnaround. Blachowicz will be the biggest guy PEAHEAD's fought in a long, long time. And people sleep on the stand-up of Blachowicz. I think if every fight a light heavyweight was just a kickboxing match, Blachowicz would win hands down. I think Blachowicz has the best chance of dethroning the Grand Rapids GOAT Jamal Hill as well. So it's a real. And also, there's Blachowicz has got the grappling that he can bust out. Now, he's not a good grappler. He gets out grappled. In fact, he's been out grappled a lot recently in his last few fights. But when he's fighting a middleweight striker, that Alex Pereira is, I reckon he'll be able to get those takedowns. Now I know Alex isn't the same skinny fraud that Adesanya is, but there's still going to be a weight discrepancy a little bit, and there's still going to be Blachowicz is if Izzy's getting you down, then a much bigger, much stronger, much higher T. Blachowicz is getting you down. That's how I think about that one. So I can see a Blachowicz potentially a late finish, but more likely a decision to Blachowicz in that one. But like I said, super high T matchup. It's a shame it has to happen. Why couldn't we all just? They should team up and just hunt down Izzy, in my opinion, and give him a beating for being an insolent little brat. But nonetheless, they want to have a custody battle over Izzy. Fine, whatever. Moving on, we have another Chad of the sport, and this is going to upset you guys a lot. I think Paulo Costa's going to absolutely dismantle and destroy this fraud, Aliskerov. I mean, who is this guy? You know what I mean? This guy's getting jelly-legged by Phil Hawes. This guy's nothing. The absolute Giga Chad Paulo Costa. He doesn't have underrated power, Lucas Tracy. He just doesn't headhunt. He's different. He's going to be going to the body of Aliskerov. He's going to be too much of an absolute Giga Chad for Aliskerov to implement his gay nut-hugging skills. He's not getting those takedowns on Paulo Costa, I'll tell you that. It's going to be, he's defending the takedowns and he's lighting him up on the feet, body shots, body kicks, and Aliskerov's just not going to be able to take it, man. You can all of Paulo's losses has been a fluke loss to Izzy, in which there was CGI involved, and Paulo Costa knew he was going to win, so he took up drinking the night before, just because he felt bad for Izzy, and he was feeling like he wanted to represent the LGBTQ community a bit. And then he lost to Vettori just because Vettori's a tough matchup and you can't put him away because his head's made out of fucking steel. And then he didn't look good against Luke Rockhold. Now, this is important. He didn't look good against Luke Rockhold because he was at altitude. And once again, he is at altitude. But I still think that he can get it done. He's a good grappler. We just don't see it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Strong as a fucking ox. You guys are forgetting Luke Rockhold is a massive middleweight. Paulo Costa literally bench pressed Luke Rockhold off of him while being gassed. So if he can do that while being gassed in the later rounds, he's going to defend a few takedowns from this fucking you know, this cliff-dwelling caveman at the start of their fight. Once he does that, he's going to be lighting him up on the feet. Like I said, you get wobbled, you get wobbled by Phil Hawes, you're going to get fucking wobbled by Paulo Costa, and it's going to be a high two finish. Another one for the Chads, and these grapple cells will have to go back to the caves where they belong. Now, Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is Tony Ferguson even fighting? I thought, if you look at the recent news, Tony Ferguson was trying to do his best John Jones impression while driving under the influence. He didn't really knack it down the same way John Jones did. Tony Ferguson wasn't able to hit a pregnant woman in her car, so he's got some things to work on with his DUI skills, but he'll have to improve on that another time, because he's booked in with Bobby Green, and I don't want to talk about this because it's really going to upset me. Tony's my favourite lightweight ever. He loses to Bobby Green. He's a shell of himself. He's former. He's got no testosterone left. He's got no athleticism left, which is how he fought. High T, toughness and athleticism. He doesn't have those things. It's not really about what Bobby Green can do. It's about what Tony can't anymore. And just for that reason, Bobby Green's going to piece him up for 3 rounds. Yeah, it's tough, it's sad. I don't want to talk about it. What a fall from grace this guy had. But let's see how he does in his drink driving career. So, maybe he can build a bit of a legacy in that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm bummed out about that. Moving on. And to finish it off, we have Kevin Holland versus Michael Chiesa. This is... I'm going Holland again for this one. Recency bias. Not recency bias, just recent activity. Michael ain't been doing shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been sidelined after getting fucking... losing to Sean Brady, who in hindsight ain't all that. It's, and Holland looks good when he fights as well. I feel like people give Holland a bad rap for whatever reason. I like him. He's entertaining for the sport. Obviously, that's not why he's going to win. He's a superior striker, and he's got some pretty slick grappling. He's got youth and athleticism on his side. I just, I can't really see how Michael Chiesa... He's not going to control him for 3 rounds on the ground, and he's going to lose on the feet. So for that reason, I'm going for Big Mouth, the Batman of the streets, Holland. Now that I've spoken about that, a few of these issues that I have with this card. One, now I get that they have to, they have to talk about a title. That's just how we build these big pay-per-view cards. But the BMF, really, the BMF thing's fucking stupid anyway. The whole thing lost legitimacy after Masvidal lost the fight. Secondly, these Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier, this is going to upset you guys. They're not BMFs. These guys pick and choose contenders that they want to fight. These guys whine like fucking women after, they cry after losing fights, and then they want to have one matchup with a top 5 contender, and they're instantly calling for a title shot again, and they're picking and choosing it. Dustin Poirier ignored Beneil Dariush. If he was a true Giga Chad, a true BMF, like who Gilbert Burns is a great example of what a BMF is. A guy that has been taking 3 fights in the space of 5 months. That's a BMF right there. Not fucking Dustin Poirier, fucking... his most recent win is Chandler, and well done, Justin, for taking a contender in fucking Fiziev. That was real. I'm sure that was real tough of you, but it's annoying. They're not BMFs. I'm happy that it's happening, but the whole BMF thing's stupid. I mean, I know that they have to build it around that because you kind of need a belt to sell a pay-per-view, but these guys are stars on their own, so. That's that for that one. And also, what has annoyed me is it's at altitude again. It's Utah. This is a problem. I've spoken about this in the Costa prediction. Why have we gone back to Salt Lake City? Okay, the crowd's good, and fucking what? I do not want the narrative of this card to be, this guy beat this guy because of the altitude. I do not want, I want the winner of these fights to be decided through a bunch of things, cardio being a part of it, but I don't want the main thing to be like who looks better after the first round. Do you know what I'm saying? We've got so many fights. We've got so many good fights on this fucking card. We've got such a good opportunity for war in every one of these. But we're just going to have it taken away from us, I think, by the potential cardio issues that will emerge. I'm sure you lot remember about that Leon Edwards card. Everyone was fucking gassing out. Even Marab was gassing out, and he quite literally has the best cardio in the history of the UFC. So, you know, that's a real pain. I don't know why they've done. I don't know why they've chosen it here. I mean, I guess I don't know why they're so insistent on going to Salt Lake City. They could go somewhere else. Just fucking go to Vegas or something. I don't fucking know. I just don't see why it has to be in Utah with all this altitude, because I feel like that could really fuck with the fights. Pissing me off, man. Right, either way, that is what I have to say about that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will see you later.